All right, in this TEAK 9D, we are going over exponential functions, identifying key features such as the y-intercept, asymptote, in both mathematical and real-world problems. We want to know what the y-intercept of this graph, of this function. Your y-intercept is going to be your a value, and that is 29. Which graph best represents 10? And then we have, this is decay. Okay, so F has a y-intercept of 10, but it is growth, so that's out. H, possibly y-intercept of 10, but that's also growth, so that's out. All right, D has a y-intercept of 10, and it's decay. G has a y-intercept of 10, and it's decay. Sorry, not D. J, honestly, I can't even really tell where that y-intercept's at. It's so close. And honestly, it's in terms of looking at that function, I'm going to say that's going to be a very wide function. Since our a value is 10, which is greater than 1, that means that we're going to have a very wide function versus J that has a very narrow, steep curve. So I'm going to say my answer is G versus J. And looking at the answer key, that's actually correct. All right, which statement can be true? The y-intercept is 0, 8. That's true. The x-intercept, we can't really say if the x-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So the x-intercept would be when y is equal to 0, we actually technically aren't able to solve that at this point in time. I mean, yes, we could graph it. The asymptote is x is equal to 0. That is wrong. It should be y is equal to 0 because it is a horizontal line, so that's hoi. The graph includes the point 2, 1. All right, the easiest way to handle that is to go ahead and graph this on my calculator. Come on. All right, I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to put 8 parentheses, 0.25, close parentheses, and then I'm going to put exponent x. I'm going to go to second graph, and I'm going to see if I've got 2, 1. I don't have 2, 1. I have 2.5, so that's out. So our answer is G. We're going to handle this one the same way that we did. We know that we're going to have growth on this one. All of these answer choices have growth. This is going to be an interesting one. Okay, so this one I can't really eliminate it by looking at our y-intercept. So we've got some nice points. We've got this point 1, 10. We've got this point 1, 5. And we've got the point on this graph 1, 10 as well. This one has a y-intercept of 5. So that means y-intercept of 5, that I can eliminate because this has a y-intercept of 2. So actually I can't eliminate J, and I can eliminate H because H has a y-intercept of 10. So our answer is either going to be F or G. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to graph this. So I'm going to clear, I'm going to do 2 parentheses, 5 to the power of x, and I'm going to do a second graph. And I'm going to look at 1. When x is 1, y is 10. So that gives me my answer F because it's not 1, 5. Same TEAK, we want to know graph the function, which is the asymptote for this function on the graph. Asymptote is going to be the line that the graph looks like it's crossing. It's going to get really, really close, and it's going to look like it's going to touch it, but it's not going to touch it. So in that case, that would give us line S. T is too far out. Which statement is true? Vertical asymptote. We don't have vertical asymptotes. I mean, we technically do, but not in this situation. Crosses the y-axis at 0 to 9. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. This one, since we're not shifting anywhere, our asymptote is going to be at y is equal to 0, so C is out. The graph decreases left to right. 2 divided by 3, That is less than 1, so we do have a decreasing function, so our answer is D. So I'm not even going to bother going to check whether or not it crosses the y-axis. I think what they're saying is that that's the y-intercept, in which case the y-intercept is 1/3, so that's most definitely not our answer either. Office worker at the company, annual salary is 29,000. If the company has an annual increase of 6.2, which graph models this after the receives the annual increase? So D has a annual salary of 5, so that's going to be out. D has also 5, that's also out. If I look at B and A, I want to think about possibly what my rate of change might be. I could look at some values. I could look at 3, and I can think about, okay, so after 3 years, annual years, I'm going to be making how much? So let's think about that. That means 29,000 times 6.2 to the power of 3. That's going to give me sorry, I'm putting the wrong value there. Hold on. Annual increase. Okay, whenever we're dealing with annual and we're dealing with an increase, we're using what's called compound interest. And so the formula for that is going to be y is equal to whatever our first salary or principal amount times 1 plus our rate to the power of x. Okay, so this formula would be 29,000. That would be our principal amount. Then that would be 1 plus. I need to change that 6.2 into a percent. So 6.2 divided by 100 gives me 0.062, and then that would be to the power of 3. So that would be 1 plus 6.02. So that gives me 29,000 times 1.062 to the power of 3. So when I put that in my calculator, 29,123 times 1.062 to the power of 3, that's going to give me 34,000. This, if I talk about 3 years, if I go to 3, that's too high. It doesn't work for our equation that we just wrote. But this gives it almost really close to right around a round estimate of 35,000. So our answer has to be A. I got 1, 2 more. I think I can knock out 2 more real quick. Okay, we've got this graph. We've got a y-intercept of 400. Okay. The coffee company had opened 400 stores by the end of 292. No, we're a number of years since 292. That's our initial amount, not the end. So F is out. The company has opened 100 stores in 1 year. We can't really say whether or not that's true or not. Every year, the store coffee company increases by 27%. Maybe. In 1992, the company had opened 250 stores each year. So if I look at this, so since 1992, and I count, these are going to go up by 250 each time. So our answer is J. All right, the store over several years graph. Okay, what conclusion can we make of this graph? Lost about 1/2, okay, over every 3 years. So this is 3 years. We've got 6 years. We've got 9 years. 1/4 every year. That means that would be a rate. 1/4 is 1/20. So they're losing about 0.25% or 25%. This would be lost its value between 9 and 10 years. So that's from 9 and 10. Lost less value between 1 and 2 years. lost more of the values. That means if it's talking about more, it'd be going up. So that's out. I would say the most one that answers the easy, more sure answer is H, because if I look between 9 and 10, we have only losing a little bit of value between those 2 years. All right, that is the end of that TEK. I will see you in the next video.